Hey everybody, a lot of people have been asking me for my classes and settings, and since I haven't done it in about a year, I think it's probably a good idea that I do it now. So, as a lot of people know, if you go to my streams, I don't really have a set classes, but I try to get a good amount, at least for these first couple classes. I would say that they're my main classes, though I do change a lot of my classes in game due to whatever like the situation is. And here's my M4 class. Nothing's really changed since last year, since there hasn't really been a lot of balancing. But another thing is, a lot of people do ask about my classes, but the thing is, because of my play style, I don't know if these really, work for everyone just because I like to run around. So usually I'll use like a bunch of fast attachments, even though it might make the gun have like a lot of recoil or not be as accurate, but I plan on being close up for the most part anyway. And for my secondary, they might be a little weird or just random, but for the most part, I'd probably say the Cali sticks are the best one. They have pretty decent lunge and they make you run, I think, a tiny bit faster than the combat knife, but honestly, I just use whatever looks cool, so I'm not really tripping about that. The reason I actually use double time first is because at the beginning of the game, quick fix actually didn't activate once you got the first kill, but they fixed it to where once you get the first kill, it'll automatically give you quick fix and start regenerating your health after you get that first kill. So now I run double time because it'll get you places faster, whatever the case might be. The only reason I use specialist bonus is because kill streaks are just kind of boring, so I'd rather just go run around and get kills and not have people back out once I drop like a VTOL or whatever it might be. And then a lot of people actually don't really use tune-up in S&D, which is really weird to me because it makes you get your dead silence almost twice as fast. So that's definitely something a lot of you should use if you're not using it already. And then for Semtex, I just use it because C4s aren't very good anymore, and there's really nothing else worth using in my opinion. And a lot of people actually are still wondering why I use stim shots. Stim shots are to regenerate your tactical sprint, so as soon as it's gone, you can immediately get it again and basically go twice as fast for twice as long. And then for the next class, the FAL is actually really underrated. A lot of people don't really use it anymore, but this class can be changed around a lot, considering like a lot of people prefer red dots, and it just depends how fast you want to play. There's not really much for this class. And then here's my MP5. I haven't really changed this one either. Even though it did get nerfed pretty heavily. The damage range and recoil got a little bit poopy, but other than that, it's fine, I guess. The only thing I could really recommend changing is maybe you could take off compensator and put on the monolithic integral suppressor. Other than that, there's really nothing worth changing except maybe the mag as well. If you want to play respawn and run 45, that's cool too. For the most part, hasn't changed since the beginning of the game. Everything's basically the same for the whole perks and lethals and tacticals, unless it's like a overkill class. Like I think there's one over here. For the uuse class, a lot of people have been wondering about this one too. The one I used in that 40 kill game was just for fun. That one's alright, but that's more of like an affected FOV or maybe like a mouse and keyboard type of like class. For me, I just use this one because it's pretty fast and it's been working fine for me. The gun kills fast enough, so I don't really have to worry about anything like a red dot or mono suppressor. But if you want, I believe it's actually in the description of that video. This is a class I've been using for a while and I don't really think it needs any other changes. For the overkill class, this is one where it's like a little bit different. It's the same MP5 class, and here's my X50 class. It's basically everything ADS. If you don't really like variable zoom, the reason I use it is just because of how like zoomed out it is. And if someone's like pushing me, I like to be able to see them better because I have really bad eyesight and I play on a pretty low sense. But if you're not really into variable zoom, I'd probably put on focus because the flinch can get really annoying sometimes, especially at like longer ranges. And then for this one, the reason I use quick fix first is because you don't have hardline, you won't immediately regen health after you kill someone. So I put quick fix in the first perk, and then I made double time my first unlock. And then for the car is actually crazy on controller because of the aim assist. So for the car, I use basically everything ADS again, but with focus this time, since there's not like really a lot of attachments you need on a car. And then I use a M19 actually for the secondary because it basically has the fastest movement speed other than a knife. It just doesn't give you as much attack sprint. But for this, I basically put on everything that doesn't decrease your movement speed, but will still do like ADS or damage range, whatever you need. And for a sniping class, I'll usually use amped for my perk 3 no matter what, just so I can switch over faster. But tune-up is still really important. I think it's really, really important in S&D. And respawn, not really. But in S&D, it's definitely worth using. And then here's probably my favorite respawn class, but for the most part, I only play shipment, so that's probably why. It's the Bison. It's not really good in S&D. I wouldn't really recommend using it in S&D. It's just a respawn gun for me, just because of the amount of ammo you have and how fast it moves and all that stuff. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's enough to go get a lot of kills in a short amount of time, and it's definitely good for nukes and all that type of stuff anyway. And then these classes are just classes that I don't really use that often. I just wasn't really sure because my classes are always changing, so I just put some stuff that people might like. I actually need to change this back to quick fix. I don't know why it's like that. But the RAM7 is actually pretty good. A lot of people sleep on it, but it's definitely a good gun. I can't really speak much about these guns since I don't really use them that often. On the P90, I change around a lot. Honestly, the base variant for this gun is good, but I changed it around a little bit just for a little bit of speed on it. Oh, these are all incorrect. I don't know why it's like this. So this video might be a little bit long considering there's actually quite a bit I want to talk about, just in general. And then here's a actual really toxic nerd class where quick fix is supposed to be the first perk just because of the whole regenerating health thing. It's an M4, which you could probably switch for a riot shield or whatever you want to do. And the 725, I actually got this for my stream. So if you guys know a better 725 class, you can go ahead and put it in the comments and it'll probably be up near the top. But since I don't really use it, I have to ask for my stream. But this one's done pretty well. I remember I used it on stream and I actually almost dropped a nuke in S&D. I think I dropped like 25 or 26 and without dying. It was really stupid. For the most part, those are all my like Modern Warfare multiplayer classes. I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Warzone classes now. For Warzone, the meta's always changing, so I doubt this really works for too long, you know. Right now, the FAMAS and the AUG are really good. The MAC-10 is still pretty viable. The AMAX is actually pretty good. It's just right now Cold War guns are kind of taking over. But I'll go through them pretty quickly. There's not a whole lot you can really do in Warzone for classes. I use throwing knives actually. Semtexes are still fine. But throwing knives are really good, especially if you're playing solos or solo duos. You could just take them out quickly, and not have to waste any ammo. So for the car, this one does change a lot, for me, but I'd probably use the biggest barrel, mono, tac laser, sniper scope, and stippled. Some people do take out stippled and put on the sport comb. It's honestly just preference. I just like the sprint to fire speed in case I run into someone and need to, you know, shoot them. Currently, the meta is the suppressor still does it's basically monolithic suppressor, which is fine. Takedown's good. Field agent grip is basically the meta grip right now. Honestly, a lot of the magazines and just attachments in general for Cold War don't work the way they say they do. But I run 50 round fast mag and Raider stock. And then the AUG right now is basically the same thing, basically same setup. A lot of the guns have the same setups except for maybe the iron sights aren't really that good for most of the guns in Cold War, so a lot of people use the ACOG. Strike Team is the best one, and it's basically the same thing over and over again with the same FAMAS class. And the AMAX, basically the same thing, long barrel with the ACOG, large mag, and a good grip. And then other than that, my class is just a restock ghost classes that I can pick up mid-game. This isn't really the strongest gun, but I use it for fun sometimes since the meta gets pretty dry and stale. So I like to use different guns sometimes. The MAC-10 class I use at the current moment in time is this one as well. And then for the most part, it's all the same. The meta changes a lot, but you could probably, I don't know, find it from like Nick Mercs or something. I have the best settings since I haven't been playing as much, so I change around my settings a lot. But I do play on controller. I play on a default DualShock 4 controller. A lot of people don't realize that, but yeah, I don't play with keyboard and mouse. I don't use a strike pack. I don't use a Cronus Mac. I don't have control freaks. I don't have any paddles. I have nothing like that. I use a completely default controller. I'm wired. And actually, something that's really important if you're playing on PC is overclocking your controller. Because for whatever reason, when you use a PS4 controller on PC, it gives you really bad delay. So unless you're using an Xbox controller or whatever, you should definitely overclock your controller. And I can post a tutorial on that on my second channel. I know a lot of people don't know I have one. I'll probably link my second channel in the description. So for my field of view, I play on 110. 100's fine as well. I just started messing around with it and I just kind of like the way it looks. But honestly, these are my settings, and if I could really recommend you some good settings, I definitely go to 120 and I play on affected, because affected makes it seem like you have no recoil, but because of my bad eyesight, I can't really see. So right now I'm playing on 110 independent. And for brightness, this is actually completely personal and depends on your like TV or monitor. I just follow this graph on the right and make it a little bit brighter to see people easier. And then for the HUD, I make it as small as possible because I don't like looking up at my radar or whatever. I like seeing it as close to like where I'm looking, which is the center of my screen, as possible. And for colorblind, I don't use anything, but I heard on console this one is really good, and helps the game look prettier and helps it and helps you see people a little bit easier. Minimap shape should be square. Because it's square, you can actually see more on the map. Everything else is pretty much defaulted and doesn't really need to be changed. Also, if you can, turn on NVIDIA Reflex, a low latency, and basically everything's off. The only thing I could really recommend turning on is maybe anti-aliasing, but that's basically preference. But everything else I basically have off or low. That'll give me the best amount of frames, except the texture quality, which I have gone to low, but I like my texture quality to be on normal. For audio, I used to play on boost low, but now I'm playing on boost high because of the like loud ass like AC 130 in the beginning of Warzone, and just how loud it makes the lows to the point where it's just hard to hear my teammates. And boost high is weird to get used to, but I've started to prefer it a little bit. I haven't really noticed a big difference in anything. Hit marker sound effects is preference. I just have it off because why not? you can do here. For my controller, I play tactical. If you're on a PS4 controller, I would definitely recommend playing on flipped, because flipped, those front bumpers actually have a faster response than the back ones. The back ones you need to press down a little bit more for it to actually activate, but just because I'm used to the back triggers, I use them. My dead zone is 0.05, but this again is depending on your controller. If your controller has a lot of stick drift, you're gonna need to like basically move it up until it doesn't drift. So what I would do is I would start at 0.000 whatever, and then move it up more and more, and as it's going up, basically see when it stops drifting by itself and then keep it there. So my sense is 1010.78 still play on dynamic. Controller vibration is off. Aim assist is actually on standard. I put scale with aim assist on, or scale aim assist with FOV on, because I don't know, I think Scummin told me to do it. I don't really know if it's a big difference, but I'd rather my aim assist be more precise than it to be like a big bubble around them, so it's easier to snap onto them. But other than that, I play with the most, like, I guess, default settings, except for contextual tap, which everyone uses now because of Warzone. And slide behavior needs to be on tap. If you want to slide cancel well, if you're doing it on hold, you're probably going to struggle a lot. Auto tag sprint's actually extremely good. I don't like it, but I heard that it basically gives you really good movement and you don't really have to do much. But because I've been playing it with on like just my normal tag sprint, it's really hard for me to get used to, and I just don't really care enough. Parachute auto deploy should be off for Warzone as well, so you can hit the ground before pulling your chute a lot faster. Other than that, I actually get asked a lot what kind of what you can do to make yourself better at the game, and I actually have a lot. If you want to get better at search and destroy in general, I definitely would not recommend playing search and destroy a lot. If you want to get better at anything, practice is definitely key. But if I'm being honest, if you're getting gunned out of your headset, bro, don't play S&D. You have one round to make a play to get better. You get one engagement around, basically. And if you waste it, you're going to sit there and watch other people play the game. What you should do is definitely play shoot the ship or any respawn game mode where you can get your gunny up. And basically ego challenging people to the point where you're gunning people. Then you can go into S&D. Learn the maps, which you already would have learned from playing respawn, but more in like a search and destroy type of way, because people do play a little bit slower, or whatever the case might be. And when you're playing respawn, definitely go out and look for gunfights, look for engagements. And like once you do that, you'll know where people sit and you can start to predict them. That's what I do. That's how I play basically respawn as whatever it is. I'll know where people are basically by like, you know, people go like, a lot of people basically play the same, you know? So it's easier to predict where people might be, and that's where you can start running at them and expecting them and killing them. But S&D is definitely something you should learn later. You should definitely learn the basics of Call of Duty before you go into S&D and just die and not really have a good time, you know? And then when you're finally ready, go into S&D. A good way to warm up, I'd say, is definitely go into a custom game. Maybe hop in with a buddy, or a lot of people like to do it by themselves, where they'll go into a free-for-all, basically turn on radar always on, unlimited time limit, unlimited score limit. Just put on a bunch of bots, map like Hackney Yard or Shipment or Speedball, something like that, basically where you'll get into a lot of engagements. I think Hackney Yard's a pretty decent map for it because it gives you different types of engagements. There's like long range, short range, medium range, but it's not too big to the point where you're going to be looking for people for too long. Basically do that, put on a bunch of bots, and basically shoot until you get to 1,000 bots. A lot of people like to shoot 1,000 bots a day, then they'll get off. Then they'll go play S&D, whatever they're going to go play. It basically warms them up enough, but I don't think you need to shoot 1,000 bots. 1,000 bots is a little excessive. I just play until I have something to do. I'll usually go warm up while I wait for someone. I don't really warm up anymore, but that's what I used to do when I actually have to, like, when I would wait for someone to play or something. But practice is definitely what's going to make you the best at this game. Practice, knowledge is definitely key, and it's something you'll learn by watching people who are good play and playing yourself, you know? Experience is what's going to make you the best at this game. Oh, another thing that matters a lot is movement, but I've already made a movement video. The only thing I can really touch up on is maybe strafe jumping, but I'm sure everyone knows how to strafe jump. It's basically jumping while curving, kind of like before and after to get a longer jump. I mean, if you guys really want me to make a video on that, put it in the comments, and I'll probably put it on my second channel if anything, but I don't really think it's something that needs to be spoken on for the most part. But I think that's basically it. There's a little bit of stuff I want to talk to you guys about, though. A lot of people actually think I reverse boost, which is just not true. I have a 2.02, and this is after going for Damascus as well. So my KD wasn't too hot after going for Damascus. I think my S&D KD is like a 2.7. I might have gone down because honestly, I kind of suck at the game now. I haven't really been playing the way I used to. I don't play as much, and I've been having a lot of issues with my PC, which is why I don't really stream anymore. It's kind of hard for me when my game's constantly tabbing out. My PCs are crashing. I'm not really sure what to do, and it's kind of just made it harder for me to want to upload. But I don't reverse boost. I don't join up on anyone. I don't do any of that. I don't care enough. If I was going to reverse boost or cheat, I don't know. It's just not really worth it for me. Also, actually, I'm going to start trying to play a little bit more. I might have to buy a new PC because the issues I've been getting are a lot worse. So I'll have to see about that. Also, I did unban everyone from my Discord. I usually don't even ban people anyway. I don't really look at general chat, but I do want to start playing more Warzone customs. We basically made everyone free to do whatever they want in the Discord, except, say the hard R or whatever the case might be. But basically, we've eased up on a lot of things, and I'm going to be a lot more active in my Discord. So if you want to talk to me, ask me questions, play Warzone, play S&D, whatever we're going to do in there, feel free to join. The links will be in the description. Also, my Twitter did get suspended. Yeah, I guess the feds did a sweep and they caught me even though I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't even tweet. I'm pretty sure the last tweet I made was like, this live shit ain't hitting anymore or whatever. So now I do post on Instagram. I'm actually really thankful for all the gifts I've got in my PO box. I posted on my story recently and I was really happy. You guys showed me a lot of support and I'm really grateful for it. I know I don't talk a lot, but I don't know. I just not really a talkative person. So thank you guys all so much for the support. I really appreciate it. You guys do a lot for me, and I know I haven't been grinding or uploading a lot. I'm just not really sure what you guys want. If you guys have any ideas or challenges or whatever you might want me to do, put them in the comments. I actually do read the comments. I just don't really reply or interact anymore because things do get a little bit toxic, but I'm not tripping about it. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Let me know what kind of videos you want as well. If you guys like the no commentary type of things where I just play and it's people's reactions, or you want me to talk while playing by myself, or if you like when I play with my friends, whatever it might be, let me know, because this shit, I don't know, it's kind of dry. Video games are not hitting the same anymore. But I really appreciate you guys so much. I love you all so much. Thank you so much. I know I'm saying a lot, but I really mean it. You guys have really changed my life in ways it's really hard for me to fathom. But I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.